This was Lucky's yard, where all the harbor's boat repairs were made. Next to it was the Seaplane hangar. One of the Star Tug's jobs was supplying fuel for Sally.
Well, it's been a long time coming, but here we are with the final episode of the Tugs Profiles series. This episode covers the one and only Sally Seaplane. If you're wondering what this means for my future Tugs content, then be sure to stick around until the end to find out. Also, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and ring Toby's bell if you enjoy my content and want to see more from me in the future. Now then, with all of that out of the way, let's get started. Sally lives in the Seaplane hangar located next to Lucky's yard. She has good relations with the Star Tugs, who also have the contract to supply her with fuel. Although she unfortunately only has one speaking role in the final cut of the show, she does come across as a very friendly girl. Interestingly enough, despite the show being set in America, she is one of only a handful of characters to speak with an American accent. It is also believed that Sunshine has a slight crush on her, as the camera focuses on his face during the conversation with Sally in the show's pilot episode. Side note, if you only ever saw the 15-minute TV cuts of the episodes, then Sally doesn't actually speak at all, since her conversation with 10 Cents and Sunshine was only seen in the 20-minute VHS cut of the episode. Sally also appears during the Regatta parade, in which she is being towed by the aforementioned Sunshine, something I'm sure he was very happy about. She also had a deleted scene in High Winds, where she would have been towed into port by Warrior, whilst telling him about Hercules rescuing the Princess Alice.
I've just heard from Sally Seaplane that Hercules has got the Princess Alice in tow.
Sally, like all female characters in the show, was voiced by Joanne Good. Despite the fact that Joanne didn't voice as many characters as some other voice actors in the show, I still like the range that she was able to provide to those that she still lent her talents to. They did not skimp out on voice talent when it came to making this wonderful show. You may have noticed that Sally's tail number reads S-Alley. This is technically inaccurate, as civilian aircrafts in the USA would have been given an N at the start of their tail number. It is believed that the S is in reference to her basis, which was of British design, the Saro A-19, aka the Cloud Seaplane. However, this actually creates a historical inaccuracy within the show, as the Clouds weren't built until the 1930s, and the show is set in the 20s.
The 1920s. Bigg City Port was the biggest harbour in the world.
Interesting that they chose to do this. Sally did have a spare model named Phoenix, which was intended to be used at a Star Tugs exhibition event, but was unfortunately damaged. Thankfully, Sally's original model maker was contacted and managed to build a replica, which now resides with her fellow cast members. When it comes to Thomas and Friends Counterparts, giving one to Sally is tricky, as she doesn't get much screen time. However, after discussing it with a friend, we came up with Rosie as the most likely counterpart. This is largely due to the fact that they are both friendly and less prominent characters in the show that have a good relationship with the main cast. Obviously, there are quite a few differences between the two, so if you guys have any ideas of your own, then feel free to let me know what you all think down in the comments. Well, that does it for the Tugs Profiles series. This series was my initial niche when I first created this channel, and I'm so glad to see that so many of you have taken an interest in it. Now I know that there are a small handful of characters that I could cover, like Old Rusty and Nantucket, but to be honest, I don't really feel like it. Plus, if I did some of these characters, I feel like I would just be stretching this series out more than it needed to be. Now this isn't to say that Tugs content is going to stop completely. In case you didn't see my update at the beginning of the year, I am planning on making October a month dedicated entirely to Tugs content, also known as Tugs Month. The reason being is that October has been the best month to be a Tugs fan in the past couple of years. Plus, it's my birth month, so it just feels fitting. Speaking of which, if you guys have any ideas on what topics you'd like me to cover for Tugs Month, then please feel free to leave me some suggestions. Whether you've been here since I first started this series, or this is your first time watching it, thank you so much for your support. Tugs is honestly a beautifully crafted show that means a hell of a lot to me. And if I've managed to pique anyone's interest in checking the show out, or even just revisiting it with this little playlist of videos, then I will consider that mission accomplished. Anyway, I think that's enough for today. So until next time, I hope you all enjoyed watching this series. As always, I've been Sinners and Ashes UK, you've been awesome, and have a great day. Bye!